So in this video I just wanted to give a little bit of advice about dealing with anorexia, both from the sufferer's point of view and from a carer or a loved one's point of view that is struggling with a daughter or a son or a friend or colleague, someone dealing with anorexia. Before I start, yes, I've been anorexic in the past and I've struggled with it for many years, about 10 years ago, so I'm glad to say that I'm nowhere near what I was. That doesn't really qualify me to make judgment on everyone else's condition or the way that they're dealing with it, and it's a very individual condition and illness. Therefore, the advice that I give and the little tips and perhaps the light that I shed on this doesn't necessarily ring true for everybody, so I appreciate that I'm not qualified to make judgment on anyone else's condition. So I think for people that are wanting to help people, it's difficult to understand, and don't by any means think that the sufferer understands what's going on either. It's definitely a mental condition, although it presents itself physically, obviously with immense weight loss and changes. Maybe someone's cutting themselves. People often assume that it's about just wanting to be thin. Well, I think 90% of the time it's a mental condition that it presents itself physically, and so therefore it's the mental side of things that needs to be tackled. Yes, if someone's emaciated and on death's door because they're so skinny, then of course you need to get the physical state improved. Also, the brain doesn't function properly if someone is really underweight, so definitely work on getting the physical at a more normal level, but then we need to target the mental condition which is happening. So often people will feel out of control, and that's why they're using the illness in a way to try and gain some sense of control, which is ironic because obviously they lose all sense of all control. Certainly I lost every element of control in my life to being locked away in a hospital, so the reaching out for and testing the boundaries isn't them wanting to push you away, isn't people saying, I don't want love. It's actually almost subconsciously a way of people trying to prove that they have stability and they have love. And from an illness's point of view, the anorexic voice inside someone's head doesn't want any control, wants free reign, wants to go and cause all the havoc that it does. But you have to listen to the sufferer, and from the person suffering point of view, they absolutely crave and want routine, control, stability, structure. So there was always this constant battle for me when I was suffering, that I wanted my parents, I wanted my loved ones to support me and gain control for me and structure where I couldn't myself, because the anorexic voice was telling me to break down all those barriers. So creating that routine is a really important thing. I think surrounding oneself with normality, an anorexic sufferer may often revert into themselves and become very introverted, very secret, very manipulative, corrupt, do things behind people's backs, say they've done things when they haven't. I think firstly, if you're trying to care for someone, don't trust anyone with anorexia and what they say. If it sounds too good to be true, if they said, oh yeah, I got up early and had some breakfast, rubbish. They probably haven't. They're very, very manipulative. To be a successful anorexic, which sounds really bad to say, by nature you have to be a very driven, intelligent, clever person, because without those traits you're going to fail. It's extremely hard to be that disciplined, to starve yourself, to have the manipulative nature, to be able to come up with ways to continue to lose weight. It's a very difficult illness to be good at. That sounds wrong as well, but basically from a carer's point of view, you have to be on the ball, you have to be clever. You can't believe or trust in anything that someone that's suffering from anorexic says, because chances are they're just trying to win you over and manipulate you, which is a really awful truth. I think talking about it, there's so much assumptions, there's so much misunderstanding, people just assuming that it's about weight, and actually it could be about someone really being